What's up? Here I have a post from Sunday World. Now I have to say that this is a very interesting post because it references Philip Dwyer, and Philip Dwyer, by the way, the base to Philip Dwyer, shout out to him. He's doing great work. He is and continues to do so. You see, Sunday World posted this out. He can now attend, that's referencing Philip himself there, on August 19, 2024, demonstrations as a trainee journalist, but must still follow any guarded directions at them. Now, anytime I watch the live stream of Philip Dwyer's, I've seen nothing but him following the directions of these goons in uniform, because that's, in my opinion, what you are. You're a goon in a uniform. You know, henchmen believe in the cause, but goons are just going along for the paycheck, as Daredevil says. So, what you've just seen happen in that live stream, from what I could see anyway, was he was arrested for no reason. He was just filming what was going on. So these go on to say then, right-wing live streamer Phil Dwyer has bail terms relaxed after Coolock arrest. Now, there's an allegation going around at the moment that the same policeman that arrested him in Coolock is the same policeman that assaulted him in November 2023. That was after children were attacked in broad daylight here in Dublin, and the government, instead of focusing on the key issue, which is immigration and dangerous immigrants running around our country, they decided to spin it and say a couple of people burning out cars in a Lewis is way worse. No, it's not. Absolutely, it's not. And my morality is completely different to these people in the government. And if you have any sort of differing opinion to that, that you think the lives of children come after vehicle property that's paid by the taxpayer, we have a very different standpoint here. Okay, so that occurred that evening then, and then of course then, well, the media were saying, oh, you can't focus on what's happening there and what happened earlier on that day. The government then were sneakily bringing in, Fianna Fáil in particular, bringing in the fella who was allegedly second or third into the situation there, another foreigner who had a large GoFundMe and then went to Brazil and came back then and then was running for Fianna Fáil in an election. You're not supposed to be talking about what happened in November, but this guy is now running on the back of, oh, look at this hero, as Micheál Martin was saying. What about Warren Donohoe and his family? They were the ones that were saying that he was forced in to stop what was going on. What's the story there? What's going on? And why were that family told not to speak out? That's what they were saying. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? This stuff has layers to it that you wouldn't even believe. But we've been keeping an eye on it, and I keep you well informed as much as I can. And Philip Dwyer keeps you well informed with as much as he can, especially with him being boots on the ground. So I decided to have a look at this, and any time that these media outlets open their mouths, anytime they say anything about one of our guys, I'm quick to jump in and say, no, not on my watch. You're not going to do that here. So the Sunday World here boasts a followership of 41.7k followers. Now, those numbers I would reckon are inflated, because when you look at an awful lot of the posts that they make, they don't crack a heavy amount of likes. This is one of the points I'd make with Elon Musk as well. Since he's turned off the ability to see who likes each other's posts, I suspect, now again, respectively allegedly, that a lot of left-leaning accounts are getting bots to like their posts, because that seems to be the case. You got people that wouldn't have cracked 5 likes beforehand are now getting 1,500. It's absurd stuff. But sometimes we get a W, guys. Sometimes we get a win, and here we have it here. So Sunday World with 23,000 views, so 23,000 people saw their post. 92 people commented, which means that there's more comments than there is likes. So that's bad news, because they're probably being hockeyed out of it, which I would say. And then I posted it underneath that, and I boast a followership of around 3,000, so that's far less than the 41,000 plus that Sunday World have. And I said, shout out to Philip Dwyer MOI, that's his handle here on Twitter, who is more of a respected journalist than your lot ever will be. 298 likes. Blammo. Absolutely swamped them, you did, guys. Fair play to you, because when you like posts like this and you swamp these people, it goes to show you where the momentum is now. That's why they're crying and screeching about what's happening here with regards to social media, because when you see a number like that, and as you will as you're looking at this video, you'll go, well, how come Ninja Knight there has 3,377 followers and he's absolutely blammoed someone with 41,000 followers out of it? How does that happen? Well, it goes to show you that things aren't as they say, doesn't it? So, Philip Dwyer has done a great job here. Moving on to the next point with regards to this here. You have these people in the government that are very afraid, and this is why social media, and they're going after social media heavy over the last couple of weeks, because of incidents like this and people like me reporting incidents like this. You have major political parties blocking people. You have people that are politically representatives in this country, and they're blocking people hand over fist because people are just coming at them, and there's more and more people coming at them and asking them very valid questions, and a lot of the time that's all it is. But you've seen the rhetoric from these people to say social media is a big problem. When they're talking about social media being a big problem, they're talking about things like this. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about, oh, this is the most heinous thing we've seen online, which they tried to say. They think that that's horrible. But they don't think what's horrible is what they're posting there by putting in brackets trainee journalist. The idea of putting in trainee journalist there, whether Philip is a trainee journalist or not, is an attempt to try and belittle him, in my humble opinion. That's my genuinely held opinion. Because, as Philip has himself labelled down here, a citizen journalist. And that's exactly as I'm concerned as to what Philip Dwyer is. You know, when I grew up, I seen people that used to go out, and I suppose it comes from the comic book nature of things. I saw the comic book character Clark Kent, who was also Superman, and he used to go to places to get the story, to tell the truth about what was going on, and would investigate it, and then ended up then sometimes realizing that a situation wasn't what it was, and was able to fix the things as the character of Clark Kent and Superman. You know, Lois and Clark was one of the shows that I thought was a great show because Dean Cain on that show played a very good Clark Kent and was out there interested in the story and stopping what was going on. Anyway, I digress when it comes to those things. This is what I see though when I see Philip Dwyer. I see a man that is so full of integrity and is so full of honesty that he absolutely 100% deserves the support from the people. The media companies don't though. Because like Pinocchio, these companies have decided to lie and slander and talk nonsense about people, and have decided then to try and belittle and offend them and try to quell what is a genuinely held opinion about the current state of our country, and have tried to call you an istaphobe, have called you far right, all of these other things. You know, these are companies, in my view, that would have no problem if Oliver Cromwell landed on these shores tomorrow. They would have no problem bending the knee and licking the boots of that man, and would have done so in the past. Philip Dwyer is a guy that wouldn't have done something like that. Philip Dwyer is a guy back in those times, you know, his weapon these days is his camera phone and his microphone. That's what they view, and this is the type of incident that we're in right now. We're in not a kinetic situation, but we're in an informational situation. And back in those days, people had swords and shields and muskets and whatever you might have. But now the game has changed, and the game has changed into an informational game. And they cannot stand that there's a guy that's out there that possesses a huge following, and he has a huge following here on Twitter, and you should follow him and make sure you're checking in his live streams. But possessed a massive following on YouTube. And you see, when you have someone that's out there posting the truth and showing what's going on, that flies right in the face of the government narrative, that flies right in the face of the media narrative. And because this guy isn't controllable, that's what they fear the most. You know, I had to say and finish out this video with something that's quite important, I think needs to be said. Anytime I've hosted Philip on my channel, and I've had lengthy conversations with Philip as well off the channel through DMs or wherever where else it might be, this guy has come across as nothing but a gentleman. He's a lovely guy, and he's a stand-up person who is looking to stand up for his country. That's ultimately, yeah, he is looking to stand up for this country right here, right now, and for future generations. This is a man that will be held as a hero in the future. I've no doubt about it. He's someone that's held as a hero right now. This guy's put his name, his reputation, everything on the line for this country. Like, this guy is a hero, and I don't think an awful lot of people understand that, and I don't think an awful lot of other people realise that, what this guy has done and what he's subjected himself to for what he's doing. This guy isn't doing this for any sort of gain. And again, you're just seeing now the government trying to pass through a motion that is going to give the media nearly $1 billion in funding. A media that is dying. A media that is on its way out. The government are looking at what's happening in the UK there, where they are trying to control everything that is going on media wise, and indeed now have encroached on social media because people have started to tell the truth there. This government are licking their lips with the idea of being able to do that because they hate guys like this. They hate people that are trying to tell the truth and are trying to steer people away from a narrative that has been weaved very carefully for a long time, but has now been utterly dismantled because why? This government and media have gotten greedy and have overstepped their boundaries, and have now realised that the people have said, hang on here, wait a minute. And it's thanks to guys like Philip Dwyer, and including Philip Dwyer, that has happened. So of course they dislike this man. This man is a man that is full of integrity, is full of honesty, and is a guy that is willing to stand up and do what is right. And believe you me, he believes what he is doing to the fullest extent, and that is something that I find to be completely admirable. Now, Philip doesn't like compliments. It's not something he's into, and I've said it every single time when I've spoken to him. I speak about it at length, the positive things that I have to say about him, and he's very, very, very humble when it comes to these things. So if you would, I wouldn't mind you going over there and going to Philip's account there and following it there. And I think he's a guy that absolutely 100% puts the fear of God into these outlets, because whilst they're trying to do things like this, telling them to follow any guided directions at him, like that's a nonsensical thing in my view as well. Because if they tell him to stop recording, is he going to have to comply with that? Because if he does, that's trying to take away the ability to show exactly what's going on. It's alright for the Gardaí to be recording you now with the old body cams, but it's not okay for you to be recording them. That's a slippery slope, you see, and a lot of people see that and they go, well, if it's just happening to Phil. No, no, no. Anything that they're doing to people like Philip is going to be done to you. You know what I mean? They're going to use, and they are trying to use him, in my opinion, as a tester case to see what will be done. And that's why I think people need to be rallying around behind him and supporting him. Don't mind any dartboard on the left hand side that's trying to take away. And if you're a dartboard you probably haven't even listened this far, because you don't have the intellect to be listening this far into a video anyway. But if you're a dartboard that's commenting below about Philip in a negative way, like, you mean nothing to me. Your opinion is below worthless to me. Like, you're not even on my radar when it comes to these things. Guys like this though need the support, and rather than arguing, and look, I would be guilty of it at times as well too, arguing with doorboard leftists online. I like it, I enjoy it, I like to poke fun. But I think what's more, and what will help us more, is the support of this guy. Make sure if you're out there and you have a platform him. If you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, if you have a podcast, whatever it might be, bring him on. The more people that bring him on, and the fact that he gets to tell a story, the better. I hope he's running again in an upcoming election. I think that would be a great thing to see, and it's great to see that he's been vindicated here. Absolute legend of a man. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.